Did you guys see this? The betting lines just dropped for our matchup against the Chargers in Week 3, and man, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Vegas is once again sleeping on our Denver Broncos. But hold up, let me break down everything that's happening and why this could be exactly the fuel our team needs to show what they're made of. First things first, if you're part of the Denver Broncos family and want to follow all the analysis, all the Vegas breakdowns, all the moments when our team is going to surprise everyone, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because hot content about our Broncos is what we're all about. But back to the topic. Folks, the Las Vegas bookmakers just set Denver as 2.5-point underdogs against the Los Angeles Chargers. That's right, you heard it. Our team, playing on the road, will take the field as underdogs once again. And you know what I think about that? They haven't learned anything about what it means to mess with Broncos country. Family, let's get to the facts, because here we don't mess around, just raw truth. The game will be played at SoFi Stadium, the Chargers' house, on Sunday at 1:05 p.m. Pacific Time. The LA guys are undefeated so far at 2-0, while we're sitting at 1-1. And that's where Vegas just looks at these surface numbers and thinks they know everything. But listen, Broncos country, do you remember how many times we've entered as underdogs and walked away with victory? How many times this team showed that it's not about what's on paper, but what happens between the lines? Because I remember every single one of them. The line is established at practically all sports books: Caesars, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM. They all set Denver as 2.5-point underdogs. That means they believe the Chargers will win by a field goal or more. But are they taking into consideration the grit, determination, and warrior spirit that runs through the veins of every player who wears orange and blue? And it doesn't stop there, folks. The over-under for the game also caught my attention. They're setting the total points between 45.5 and 46.5, depending on the sportsbook. This tells me they expect a balanced game, maybe defensive, but with potential to explode at any moment. FanDuel, DraftKings, and Ballybet have 45.5 points total. BetMGM, Caesars, Fanatics, and Bet365 went up to 46 points, and some even risk 46.5 like ESPN Bet. In other words, they know that when Denver and Los Angeles face off, things can heat up and points can flow. But family, let's analyze this with a cool head, because here on the channel we don't sell illusions, we speak the truth. The Chargers really did start the season well. 2 wins in 2 games is no joke in the NFL. They're playing at home. They have their crowd's support. And technically speaking, they started better than us. However, and this is a huge however, anyone who follows Broncos country knows our team has something that doesn't show up in statistics: heart. We have a roster that, when backed against the wall, when everyone doubts, when Vegas makes us underdogs, that's exactly when the magic happens. And I'll tell you something. Family, being 2.5-point underdogs isn't absurd at all. This basically means the game will be decided in the details, in crucial moments, in plays that make the difference between victory and defeat. And in those moments, I blindly trust our Broncos DNA. Let's talk about what these odds really mean for us fans. When Vegas establishes a line like this, they're not just looking at the first 2 weeks' results. They analyze injuries, individual performance, historical statistics, season trends, even game weather. And even with all this analysis, they think the difference will be less than a touchdown. This tells me that deep down, even the Las Vegas experts know Denver has potential to surprise. Because if they really believed Los Angeles was much superior, the line would be much bigger. We'd be 6, 7-point underdogs or more. Broncos country. Now I'm going to talk about some points I think these sportsbooks might be underestimating about our team. First, divisional rivalry. When 2 AFC West teams face off, you can throw out any prediction, any statistic, any favoritism. These games are always tough, always unpredictable, and always bring out the best in each team. Denver versus Chargers isn't just another game, it's war. Second point, our defense has shown flashes of greatness this season. And we all know defense wins championships, right, family? A solid defense can neutralize any offense, can create turnovers, can completely change a game's direction. And when our defense is locked in, it's capable of stopping anyone. Third factor, experience in tight games. Our team has been through pressure situations, has played in hostile environments, has faced theoretically superior opponents. This baggage, this experience, doesn't show up in any statistic, but makes all the difference when the game is balanced. And there's one more thing Vegas might not be calculating correctly: the extra motivation to prove them wrong. There's nothing that motivates a professional athlete more than everyone saying they can't do it. It's pure fuel to show the opposite. Family, have you stopped to think about how many upsets have happened in the NFL just this year? How many times the underdog not only won but destroyed the favorite? The league is increasingly balanced, and any team can beat anyone on any given Sunday. Now let's get into the more technical aspect, because here on the channel we go deep Broncos country. These 2.5-point odds tell me Vegas expects a very balanced game from an offensive and defensive standpoint. The over-under hovering around 46 points suggests they don't expect a touchdown fest, but they also don't believe it'll be just a field goal game. This perfectly matches both teams' profiles. Both Denver and Los Angeles have respectable defenses, but also have offensive potential to score when necessary. The difference will be in the details: third downs, red zone efficiency, turnovers, and special situations. Speaking of special situations, this could be a decisive factor that's not being fully priced in by sportsbooks. Special teams can flip a game in seconds: a punt return for touchdown, a blocked field goal, a kickoff return that changes field position. Any of these plays could be the difference between being inside or outside Vegas's established line. Another interesting point is how these odds might influence both teams' strategy. Los Angeles, being home favorites, might feel extra pressure to meet expectations. We as underdogs can play looser, freer, the weight of favoritism. I'll say something here that bookmakers might not be fully considering: the psychological factor of playing on the road as underdogs. This can either motivate our players even more or take some pressure off them. And when you have talent, which our team has in spades, and play without pressure, results can be surprising. Family, let's look in the rearview mirror, because those who don't know the past are doomed to repeat the same mistakes. And Vegas has definitely been wrong several times when it comes to the Denver Broncos. Over the years, our team has entered as underdogs in crucial games and left the field with epic victories. We've been underestimated in playoffs, we've been counted out in entire seasons, and we always find a way to surprise. This ability to exceed expectations isn't coincidence, it's culture. It's tradition, it's Denver Broncos DNA. And that's something no sportsbook can completely quantify in their analysis. When you have an organization that breathes excellence, that has high standards and never settles for less than the best, these values are reflected on the field. And often, this makes the difference between being just another team and being a team that makes history. Broncos country. Do you remember how many times we've seen our players talk about using disrespect as motivation? About turning doubts into fuel? This mentality doesn't come from nowhere. It's cultivated. It's part of the team's identity. Now, family, let's talk about what these odds mean for us, who bleed orange and blue every Sunday. First thing, we shouldn't be shaken by being underdogs. Actually, we should embrace it. Being underestimated can be a blessing in disguise, because it takes off pressure and allows the team to play with more freedom. Second thing, these odds show the game will be decided in details. Every down will matter. Every yard will make a difference. Every decision can change everything. And in these moments, our crowd, our energy, our unconditional support could be the extra factor the team needs. Third reflection, regardless of what Vegas thinks, regardless of who's favored on paper, on Sunday it's 11 versus 11 on the field. And in football, anything can happen. That's why we play the game. And you know what else? Broncos country? There's something poetic about being an underdog. There's something beautiful about everyone doubting and you proving them wrong. There's something special about silencing critics with on-field performance. Folks, now I'm going to talk about some elements that could make these Vegas odds turn to dust on Sunday. First factor, weather and game conditions. SoFi Stadium is a closed stadium, so we won't have weather interference. But still, factors like game time, crowd energy, even small details can influence the outcome. Second factor, last-minute injuries. The NFL is a contact sport and injuries happen. If any key player from either team suffers any problems during the week, this could completely change the odds and game dynamics. Third factor, motivation and momentum. Los Angeles is undefeated, which can bring confidence, but also overconfidence. We, with one win and one loss, might be in the perfect mentality, hungry enough to want to prove something, but experienced enough not to panic. Fourth factor, game plan and execution. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Vegas thinks if we don't execute our game plan. But if we can implement our strategy correctly, if we can force the Chargers to play our game, the odds can flip quickly, and there's a fifth factor I consider most important, the soul of Broncos country. When our team feels they have unconditional fan support, when they know that win or lose, we'll be there supporting. This releases special energy that no Vegas algorithm can calculate. Now, family, I'll give my personal opinion on these odds and what I expect from the game. Honestly, I think 2.5 points is a fair line considering the cold numbers from the first 2 weeks. Los Angeles really did start better. They're playing at home, and they have momentum on their side. From a statistical standpoint, it makes sense they're favored, but football isn't played on paper. It's played on the field. And I firmly believe we have all the necessary tools to not only cover these 2.5 points, but to win the game convincingly. Our defense has potential to create serious problems for any league offense when it's functioning well. Our offense, when it finds its rhythm, can be explosive and hard to stop. And our special teams have the ability to change a game with one special play. What makes me most confident is knowing our team has character. It has players who don't give up, who fight until the last second, who turn adversity into opportunity. And this type of mentality doesn't appear on any Las Vegas spreadsheet. I'll make a prediction here. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people on Sunday. Not only will we cover the 2.5 points, we're going to win the game. And when that happens, we'll remember everyone who doubted, every sportsbook that underestimated us, and we'll celebrate like only Broncos country knows how. Listen, family, if you're enjoying this content, if you want to follow all the analysis, all the predictions, all the moments of glory of our Denver Broncos, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate notification bells. Because this is where Broncos country gathers to talk about our beloved team. This is where we analyze every play, every decision, every moment that makes our hearts beat faster. And this is where we celebrate every victory as if it were the first and most important of all. Broncos country, let's think beyond Sunday's game for a moment. These odds and this matchup could have much bigger implications for the rest of our season. If we can win as underdogs, it'll send a clear message to the entire league. Denver Broncos is back and can't be underestimated. This could change the narrative about our season and make other teams see us with more respect. Plus, a divisional road win is always special. AFC West is one of the NFL's most competitive divisions, and every divisional win is worth gold. If we get this victory, we'll be in a great position to fight for playoffs at season's end. From a team confidence standpoint, winning as underdogs can be transformational. It could be the moment that defines our season, that shows our own players they're better than many think. And family, I'll speak a truth here. Teams that consistently win when they're underdogs are usually special teams. They're teams that have something extra, that have grit, that have the ability to elevate their game when they need it most. Family, now let's talk about how we, as fans, can prepare for this matchup. First, let's flood social media with support for our team during the week. Let's show that Broncos country is present, is tuned in, and is ready to support our Warriors on Sunday. Second, let's watch the game with positive energy. Football has a lot to do with energy, with vibration, and even from a distance, our fan support can make a difference. Third, let's support regardless of the result. Of course, we want victory. We hope to surprise Vegas and stomp the Chargers, but win or lose, we're Denver Broncos family, and we'll be together always. And one important thing, folks, let's not let these odds mess with our confidence. Being isn't shame, it's opportunity. It's a chance to show that numbers don't play football, people do. Let's take a more specific look at different sports books because each has its peculiarities. Broncos Country, Caesars, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM all establish the same 2.5-point line. This shows there's market consensus on how this game should unfold. When several books agree like this, it usually means they're confident in their analysis. But you know what this could also mean? They might be following each other, creating herd mentality. And when that happens, sometimes odds don't completely reflect game reality. As for the over-under varying between 45.5 and 46.5, this shows small opinion differences about total points. Some believe it'll be a more defensive game, 45.5. Others bet on slightly more points, 46.5. This small variation is interesting because it shows no one expects a shootout, but also no one expects just a field goal game. It's the expectation of a balanced matchup, typical of divisional rivalry Broncos country. Let's talk a bit about the history between Denver and Los Angeles, because this might give clues about what to expect. These two teams know each other well, face off twice yearly as divisional rivals, and always provide interesting games. Historically, there's no absolute dominance from either side. They're teams that respect each other and know any mistake can be costly. This mutual knowledge can work in both teams' favor, but can also create situations where the surprise factor makes the difference. Whoever can innovate, whoever brings something new to the game, might gain advantage, and there's an interesting psychological aspect. Los Angeles knows Denver always plays hard against them, regardless of season situation. This can create extra tension, additional pressure from being home favorites. From a tactical standpoint, family, these odds tell me some interesting things about how Vegas views both teams. The 2.5-point line suggests they see the teams as very close in quality, with Los Angeles having slight advantage due to home field. This means small tactical adjustments could make a big difference in the final result. The over-under around 46 points indicates expectation of a game where defenses will play important roles, but where offenses will also manage to produce. It's the type of game where execution and situational football make all the difference. These numbers suggest Vegas expects a field position game, where every possession will matter, where turnovers could be decisive, and where special teams can change everything. Folks, reaching the end of our conversation, I want to leave a message for our entire family. These Vegas odds don't define who we are or what we can do on Sunday. They're just numbers based on analysis and statistics. But football is much more than numbers. It's heart, it's soul, it's will to win. And if there's one thing our team has never lost, it's this will to fight, this warrior grit that's part of Denver Broncos DNA. When our players put on that orange and blue helmet, they're not just playing for themselves, they're playing for all of Broncos country. So family, let's go into Sunday's game with confidence, with positive energy, with certainty that our team will give everything to bring this victory home. And if we manage to surprise Vegas, if we manage to stomp the Chargers on their own turf, the celebration will be epic. Regardless of the result, one thing I guarantee, we'll come out of this game more united, stronger, and with even more pride in being part of this wonderful family that is Broncos country. Sunday is coming, family. Are you ready for another battle? Are you ready to show we're much more than odds and statistics? Because I am, and I know you are too. So what do you think, Denver Broncos family? What do you think of these odds? Do you think Vegas is underestimating our team, or do you think the line is fair? What's your prediction for Sunday's game? Leave everything in the comments below. I want to know each of your opinions. I want to feel Broncos country's energy pulsing strong for this matchup. And don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and share with all friends who are passionate about our Denver Broncos. Let's spread this positive energy and show everyone that Broncos country never gives up, never stops believing, and is always ready for the next battle. Until the next video, family, and may Sunday be ours. Go Broncos!